Hi, everyone. I want to talk to you about the challenges of trying to understand the term masculinity as a man with a disability. I have done a lot of research about this term for a very long time, ever since I was in middle school through currently, by listening to different YouTube videos, watching TED Talks, listening to different talk shows talk about this. I myself have a disability, which is autism, including a learning disability, along with a kind of disability, ever since I was born through currently. Having this is a challenge for me because I struggle on comprehending and learning different advanced subjects at a certain pace. Sometimes I struggle to figure out how to communicate my thoughts in different social settings, including on social media platforms. I have challenges on understanding people's personalities, including different social cues, and struggle with doing tasks or multitasking in a fast paced environment. Another thing that I struggle with it is I deal with getting bullied and even sometimes harassment from some of my friends, people who I know, and people in general for being different and having challenges with my disability. During my time when I was in middle school through high school, I had done athletic extracurricular activities like being on a swim team or in the fitness classes or in the gym classes. I had a lot of difficulty doing extracurricular activities, including fitness, in these settings. Whenever people would want me to play soccer or basketball or even catch with the football or even play baseball, I had a lot of difficulty on trying to catch a ball or even try to focus on navigating a soccer ball when I interact with other people in these activities. I had struggled because my cognitive disability was affecting me, where it was hard causes me to lose focus, or it was hard for me to figure out how can I easily react quickly to an object. When I was doing swimming conditioning or even being on a swim team, I had challenges of trying to swim at a fast time or to even develop improvements on my strokes. My disability had affected me even further because I had tried to improve myself on the swim techniques. When I had challenges of doing sports activities or doing a particular activities in swimming, I was judged harshly where many people would question me about struggling or saying phrases like I thought men were supposed to be perfect at athletics, or I thought men were supposed to be perfect at being in great shape, but you are a retard for struggling. Also, I dealt with the harsh judgments from people that had participated in extracurricular activities in sports or other athletics where they would make fun of me. They would call me a retard or slowpoke or a jackass just for struggling on trying to do techniques in these activities. Whenever I was put onto a team for an activity where if they had lost, they would point fingers at me and even put me down even further. They tell me that I was a retard for making them lose in an activity. Inside of myself, I felt ashamed about myself because I had tried the best as I could to understand sports or try my hardest to practice while figuring out how to better develop techniques to improve myself in athletics. Inside of myself, I continued to question am I a failure of being a man because I struggle on developing good athletic skills? Am I a perfect person when other people judge me if they don't think that I'm in good shape? What I have done the best as I can is to watch videos of workout videos and go into the gym to exercise at my own pace while find ways to improve my techniques, like walking on a track, doing jump roping, doing some little weights, and dry land stretch conditions. Also, on exercising, whenever I didn't feel comfortable about being in a gym setting due to people being fitness aggressive or make fun of me, I would walk outside or sometimes I would jump rope outside if the weather was nice. With my challenges as a man with a disability, I had faced hard struggles in the education settings during my time in a public school setting, through a community college setting. I had hardships where I would struggle on learning different advanced subjects at a certain pace. I was teased by students in the classroom for struggling on understanding subjects or asking questions to a topic. Sometimes there were teachers or sometimes administrators in these education settings where they would make fun of me for struggling or harshly judging me as a bad person for struggling to learn. I had times where in the classrooms I dealt with students would make fun of me, even if I had a teacher assistant or a tutor be present in my classroom, or if I needed to use a recorder to record lectures to help me learn. In my time in these education settings, I dealt with a harsh term where many people would stereotype a man who is a student with a disability as a bad person or is a failure and a terrible person for the world. Inside of myself, I felt ashamed, confused, and guilt of trying to figure about these thoughts from other people. Am I really am a bad person as a man with a disability in an education setting? In my time in these education settings, I would work on being creative, on doing strategies to help me find ways to learn. I always have a tutor or a TA help me with reading materials or homework assignments. Use a recorder to record lectures to help me understand the subjects while improve on note taking. I would have special education, including learning support services, to try to set up accommodations like extra time on exams. Have a TA or tutor help me with learning subjects and using a recorder or an education software to assist my disability to learn. Using audiobooks to help me navigate literature material, watching documentaries with closed captions to help me retain the information being processed, and many others. I would do these techniques to help assist me on trying to do homework, exams, or essays as much as I can without procrastination. Even when I was teased by other students, by some teachers or professors or some administrators or people outside of the education setting, I would have to tell myself in the inside is that as a man with a disability, it's okay to be creative while figuring out how I can learn in different ways, and that many people have different ways of learning, and that I shouldn't have to feel ashamed about myself. In society and dealing with this masculinity issue, it hasn't been that easy. I have been judged harshly by people, some of my friends, people who I know, people from different backgrounds, women, including girls, and other generation groups, because I struggle with my disability and trying to navigate as much as I can. I have worked in the food service industry for about 11 years and currently working in this type of job setting is never easy. The reason why I say it is not easy is I struggle trying to understand how to do tasks or to even multitask in a fast paced environment. I deal with getting bullied by other coworkers about struggling with my disability or if I struggle on doing tasks in a fast paced environment. And if I need help in a job setting on doing these tasks, sometimes other coworkers would ignore me. Another thing is that a challenge of working in a setting is that there are sometimes I could easily lose a job due to no fault of my own, or instances like business isn't doing too well, or management is changing where they can decide anytime they want to let me go. In this job setting, I tried my hardest to be creative with critical thinking, to develop an ideas on how to improve multitasking or how to understand how to do tasks efficiently, do the best as I can to build working relationships with other coworkers so we can work as a team to get things done. And I tried my hardest to help other people. To be honest, much as I say I try my hardest or working hard. It is not easy all the time because I get judged by many people. Many people assume that a person with a disability is lazy. I have dealt many times with many people in the job setting would say that a man with a disability is a slowpoke, is a retard, just because I have difficulty on doing tasks efficiently. Inside of myself, I feel hurt when people bully me or put me down in a workplace, and when other people outside of my work judge me harshly for struggling on trying to navigate a work setting. I have to tell myself, as a man with a disability, is that it is important that I continue on the good principles that I have previously mentioned, like using creativity along with critical thinking to understand different tasks, or even how to multitask in a setting. Continue to try my best to build working relationships with other coworkers so we can work as a team, and try my best to help people. I've done volunteering for a very long time, including currently, where I try my hardest to help others, provide assistance to people who are homeless, including people who are low income, and many others. There are times I struggled during my volunteering in the past, including currently, where I struggle multitasking at a fast paced environment. Sometimes homeless people, including people who are poor, get aggressive at me when I can't help them with everything. Sometimes I deal with some harshness from other volunteers about my struggles. I have dealt with some volunteers, including some people who are poor or who are low income, who would make harsh judgments or other bullying forms where they would say that a man with a disability is a failure. Nobody likes a person with a disability like me and many others. I try my best to refocus on myself, to try to calm myself in situations like this. Inside of myself, I have to tell myself I am just a man with a disability, or simply just a human being who wants to have good traits, who wants to help people, be compassionate for people who struggle in life through poverty or mental health or other health issues too, and that is important for me to try to be creative with critical thinking. I try my best to pay attention on how long the line is, to give myself a sense of an idea of how much food I can give out. If I feel like I can give out seconds, all I can do is to remind them that wait 10 to 15 minutes and I can provide you with seconds. Whenever I feel like I can help everybody in need during my volunteering, all I can simply just do is to remind them that we'll come here every week and we will do what we can to help you out. There are times where people question my sexual orientation. I tell people that I am straight. I have an interest in girls, including women. I have been interested in women, including girls, ever since I was born through currently. However, it's been a real challenging. I have dealt many times where I was being bullied by women, including girls, where they would make fun of me for struggling with my disability, or if I struggle with understanding social cues, or if I couldn't meet their standards enough and how they want me to. There were times where I dealt where they would make sexual harassment remarks in a negative way about me and tease me how I looked. They would call me ugly names, like calling me a retard. I've also dealt hard times where women, including girls, would like to spread bad rumors about me, which weren't true to other people. There were times where I doubt on how women would like to say bad things about men with disabilities or man with the disabilities. They would just say that I'm a creep and men with disabilities are ugly. How come you can't be a man who is sexy or very well financially or very highly educated like others? The bullying from women, including girls, have increased more and more during the men hating era, including some of the Me Too movement. I have experienced where women, including some girls, would use these things as a way to bully me with a disability. Sometimes they would spit at me in the face, hit me, and come close to my face where they try to say really disturbing, gross things in order to get me mad because they want to provoke me. To be honest, it is not easy for me to talk about the Me Too movement and the concerns that I have about women, including girls, using this to bully me because I don't want to sound like a bigot person against women, including girls. I'm a person that believes in women's rights. Like, I believe that they should have the right to choose, have equal pay, and want them to be treated as human beings. I want them to feel like it is okay that they don't have to face any harassment or discrimination in different settings. When some women, including some girls, do these mean things or say mean phrases like men with disabilities are a creep, or are disgusting, or are ugly, or just stupid people, the guilt hits me hard inside. I feel ashamed about myself, where I keep continuing to ask myself questions like, am I simply a bad person just because I'm a man with a disability? Am I a failure or a creep just because I struggle with social cues, or it's hard for me to communicate my thoughts efficiently with other people, including them? Am I a bad person just because I can't meet women's expectations or their standards, and many others? I continue to think of this question all the time, even on a daily basis. I try my best to think of what are my intentions should be. As a man with a disability, I think to myself that I want women, including girls, to feel confident about themselves, even if they struggle in life or when they make achievements. I want them to be treated as human beings. Want to try my hardest to be a good listener to them, along with being a good supportive person to them. I want to think of good thoughts, including positive vibes to them when they are struggling in life or when they make achievements, and to let them know that I am a supporter of women's rights. I know these intentions sound good, but it is hard for me to communicate verbally, or it's hard for me to even express it or to show it, because many times it gets rejected by women, including girls, and they continue to bully me even further. Also, there are times when men make fun of me for just wanting to have good intentions on treating a girl with respect. Whenever I get bullied for having a disability, or when people get mean at me, they or when they even do sometimes physical harassments like spitting or hitting, or when they do other forms of harassment like getting close to my face, where they say gross materials, or even they try to spit talk in front of my face, I feel hurt inside too. There are times I feel like I want to cry so hard because I feel scared and ashamed of myself. Ideal instances where men, women, some of my friends, people who I know would make fun of me for having struggles with depression or if I want to cry. They would make some type of phrases like like why are you a man who is a crybaby? You are a weirdo if you are a man who is struggling with mental health or with a disability. You are a terrible person, and it's weird for men wanting to cry or have emotions. Inside of myself, all I have to try to do is hold on my emotions at bay. I have to tell myself that it is okay that I have to cry sometimes if things are hard. I have to tell myself that it is okay to have emotions. It is okay not to be okay. I have to keep telling myself to be grounded in order to make sure that I can do self care, to try to distance myself from the negativity, and to not be provoked by others. I struggle with depression and feeling okay because I feel overwhelmed and fatigued and trying to present myself as simply just a human being or being a man with a disability and wanting to do good things in life, trying my best to be creative with critical thinking and trying to develop compassion and understanding for people, but I keep getting bullied even further. It is hard every time for me to say that I want bullying, including harassment, to stop, but it never stops. There are times where I have to ignore, but sometimes ignoring is never easy because the pain hits inside of me too. In conclusion, masculinity is not an easy term to learn. I had struggles many times. I'm trying to understand it. I tried looking it up, understanding the stereotypical of what men should be. I try my hardest to comprehend on this term as best as I can as a man with a disability in life. I have dealt hard times where people from both genders would use masculinity in a negative way on me with a disability. Dealing with this negativity of this term from women, including girls, have been extremely hurtful, and it makes me scared all the time. It makes me worried that I will never have a connection or even a friendship with a girl, including women, in the near future. All I have to do is to remind myself that it's okay for me as a man with a disability to have good intentions on women, including girls, like being a supporter of women's rights, wanting the ability to treat them as human beings, being supportive, including being a good listener to them when they have hard times or when they make achievements, and try my best to think of good thoughts, including positive vibes. In a work setting or volunteering setting, it is hard for me with a disability and trying my best to navigate it when I struggle with doing tasks or when other people around me get mean at me. When I struggle at advanced subjects at a certain pace, or if I can't learn like other people can, it can be hard for me, for myself, and when other people put me down for trying my best to figure out how to be creative with critical thinking strategies for me to learn, there are times where I struggle on feeling okay if I'm around people because I deal with the harshness on a daily basis, monthly basis, or yearly basis. All I can simply just do is to remind myself that it's okay that I'm different from other men. It is important to be creative with critical thinking to find ways to learn or how to do tasks efficiently in a fast paced environment or on a daily basis or to understand different situations. I'm a person that just simply just wants to be a decent human being who wants to do good things, along with having good compassion and also kindness, even if I get rejected by society, by men, and by women. Also, it is important for me to try to find ways to keep myself in shape on exercising, even though I struggle to be perfect in a workout. I know that the speech isn't easy. It is hard for me to process this terminology word, and it is hard for me to understand myself as a man with a disability in a society where it is confusing, polarizing, and challenging. I've always struggled as a man with a disability and trying to navigate a world or society where people have to rely on bigotry and hate. It breaks my heart, it hurts my feelings when other people get mean just because I struggle with my disability, or if I can't be perfect man like everybody wants me to be, and many others. All I can do is to remind myself that it is okay for a man with a disability to be creative with critical thinking, to improve myself while educating myself to learn. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me.